sort of bounce around and play, let it have fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make your way to your seats. The show is about to begin.
Can you guys hear me now? This thing is being so weird. Welcome back, Littermates. Welcome back to Boss Kitty Live. I'm your host, Boss Kitty. It is, I think it's a Wednesday. I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday. You know, when I have a day off during the week, like MLK Day or something like that, it always screws up my whole entire timeline. All day today, I thought it was Tuesday. And then TK was like, I need to check the lighting on you for the show. And I was like, the show? Yeah, totally. Yes, I'm prepared for that. No, watch. So until you initially do it, I had it halfway up and it was this much up over here. It's the weirdest thing. I'll show you later for sure. We're going to figure out this stupid thing eventually, I promise. The PC panel. It hates me. Oh my gosh. Only Wednesday. It is only Wednesday. That's correct. So we've still got, some of us have still got 2 more days in our workday. Some of us have a whole week ahead of us. Maybe it's your weekend right now. I have no idea. But anyway, I'm glad whatever day it is that you are hanging out here with little me. And yeah, I'm glad to be hanging out with you too. So if you are new to the show, welcome to Boss Kitty. We are thrilled to have you here as part of the community.
Thank you for being a friend.
We generally, well, hi Matt, it's good to see you again. We generally like to knit a little bit, crochet a little bit, curse a little bit, whatever. But tonight, I'm really excited, you guys. So there were a few people who had said that they were just learning how to knit or that they've always wanted to learn how to knit. So I have some obnoxiously chunky yarn right here and some very large needles, and I'm going to teach you guys the very basics of knitting. So we're going to do a long tail cast on. We might do another type of cast on too. The knit stitch, the purl stitch. And then if we have time, I'll teach you how to pick up dropped stitches and things like that. We'll go over it real slow with you guys. If you already know how to knit or you've already gone through this, then you can just sit and help and, you know, be supportive and all that jazz. And then the second half of the show, we are going to play with the drop spindle, which will be amusing for you because I am terrible at drop spindling. Seriously, like, not the worst, but pretty damn close. I'm going to say bottom 5. Once again though, if you are new, we play a game every half an hour on the half an hour. So it starts at 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. I don't know why I said p.m. Which is in about a little under 15 minutes. And you just need to be a subscriber and chat it up with us and you're eligible. So just keep that in mind. You're ready. Okay, good. Good crochet. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you were able to get your hands on. Yeah, I agree. Altnut sent me. Hi, Carrying On. Welcome. We love Altnuts. Kayla is amazing. Welcome to the show. We're so thrilled you're here with us. I am going to go to my workspace area. Ta-da! Oh, I am centered. Yes. Fantastic. Okay, so this is our very obnoxious orange pumpkin-y. You know what this is? This is the yarn that TK learned how to crochet with. It seemed fitting, honestly. I'm going to pop this right over here. I'm using really chunky yarn, specifically so that you can see the stitches that I'm doing. That's the whole plan here, right? Like, we want you guys to be able to see it. When you start out knitting, though, I do not recommend starting with a really bulky yarn. It gets awkward in your hands. The needles get awkward. So I recommend either a worsted weight or a kind of a little bit more than an Aran weight, which is above, just right above a worsted weight. And you're probably using around size 9 needles. These are size 13. Lucky 13, right? Hello, Nicole. How are you? You aspire to knit? Well, everybody can knit. Seriously, it's not too terrible. It's not very hard at all. In fact, here's the big deal about knitting, you guys. Here's the super secret. Knitting is just 2 stitches. It's a knit stitch and a purl stitch. Every single thing that you see that's made is some combination of that. Either it's knit 2 together, purl 2 together, make a stitch which becomes a knit stitch. Like it's all just the same thing. It's just those 2 stitches. We just like to make it look like it's really hard and difficult. Like, you know, when you put what was that commercial in the 90s where like the mom put the Pillsbury cookies in the oven before the kids got home and then she put the flour all over herself. That's what knitting is for a lot of people. Once you get past that basic part of it and you give yourself a little bit of confidence, then you're golden. So the first, hi Ashlyn, how are you? Roxanne, hello. Oh, I'm so glad you like to drop Spindle. Raw Meals, Miranda, hello everybody. Okay, so the first type of cast on we're going to do is called the long tail cast on. And I will be honest, cast ons are probably the hardest part of knitting, at least in the beginning to learn. The reason it's called a long tail cast on is because you give yourself a very long tail. There's a little trick to that, and I'll go ahead and go over that just real quickly with you. So you're estimating how much tail you're going to need to create your stitches, which is kind of a bummer. Because if you run out of tail before you get all your stitches on there, you have to start over again. And I've said this many times, that's not a big deal if you're only casting on 10 or 20 stitches. But if you're casting on 150 stitches for a sweater, you will rage. Like, there will be some serious knitters rage. I'm not kidding. I rage. Everybody rages. It happens. Okay, so the way that you can get around that is you kind of estimate by wrapping it around the needle however many stitches you need. So in this case, we're going to do about 20 stitches. I think maybe 15. We'll do 15 or 10. We'll see how it looks. Anyway, so you start with about 8 to 10 inches of a tail because you want that to be able to weave in later. And then you wrap this loosely around here and just count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there's my 15. That's about how much tail I'm going to need. Sometimes it's more, but it's very rarely ever less. You guess the reason your stitches have always been tight is because you've been using a size 5 with a worsted. Hot damn, Lillian. I mean, that's fine, and that gives you a nice weave, but yeah, try something 7s, 8s for sure. Okay. You're not good at guessing cast on length. This is helpful. Oh, Elizabeth, I'm so glad to hear that. It's your favorite way to cast on so far. So you want to start with a slip knot, and you'll be amazed how many people don't know what a slip knot is. So if you're one of them, you're in good company. Don't worry about it. What you're going to do is you're going to take your yarn and you're going to get a little archway like this, right? And then you're going to take one side and you're going to bring it over the other. So in this case, I'm taking my tail and bringing it over the top. Do you see how I've got that right there? Then I'm going to take the piece that I have on top right here. I'm going to bring it underneath through the loop like so. And then I'm just going to pull on it and tighten it. But you got to hold on to the bottom while you do that. That's a slip knot. And the reason it's called a slip knot is because I can make it big and I can make it small. So we're going to go ahead and put this on our needle like so. Okay, so that is considered your first stitch. Unlike crochet, where your slip knot is not considered your first stitch. I cannot tell you how fucking long it took me to figure that out. Oh my gosh, so much crochet. Does it take more tail for bulky? Poly knits, not necessarily. It depends on how many stitches it comes down to, once again. So, you know, yes, if you're putting 20 stitches on of fingering weight, it's going to take less than it would take for 20 stitches of bulky weight. But most likely, you're not going to need as many stitches in bulky weight as you would in fingering weight. That's kind of how it works out. You start to look at the weight of yarn, like this is 4 ounces, right? And it's 460 yards. Whereas our worsted weight, or our DK weight, is also 4 ounces, but it's 230 yards. And so it's half the size. And so when you're making something like a sweater, let's say, they're both going to take probably, not always, but they're both going to take the same amount of ounces to make a sweater with. Because you're using, it's the same amount of fluff no matter how you look at it. Weight is weight is weight is weight. It's just how much yardage and how many smaller stitches you have on there versus how many bulky stitches you have on there. I hope that made sense. Hi, Thorn. How are you? I wonder if I will keep not counting that stitch when I knit. Hi, story time. Okay, so we've got our first stitch. Now this is where it gets kind of weird. You're going to take you've got your stitches in your right hand, and you've got your little pointer finger sitting here hanging out, right? You're going to take your left hand, and you're going to take your pointer finger and your thumb, and you're going to put them between the stitch legs. It sounds so dirty. Between the yarn legs, just like that, right? And then you're going to take the bottom pieces of that, and you're going to wrap them up in your hand, like so. Do you see how my URL hand, it's URL, URL hands, or fingers rather, are holding onto the yarn? You want to make kind of like a little triangle. After you've made your triangle, you're going to bring your hand down like so. You're going to come underneath the loop that's on your thumb from the outside. You're going to come all the way around, and you're going to grab the yarn that's on your finger right here, and then you're going to bring it back through this loop, and you're going to release everything. And don't, when you get that stitch on there, don't yank on it, because it's going to be a nightmare to try to stitch through it later. You don't want it super loosey, but you want it to be able to move on here. So let's go ahead and do that again. We've got our triangle, right? I got my URL. Look at that. It spells URL. It's hilarious. We're going to come straight down. You don't want to come down like this or down through here. You just want to come straight down like so. You're going to come from the outside, along the outside of your finger, or of your hand, underneath the thumb slip. You're going to come all the way over onto the other side of your finger and go underneath. Don't come from this side. You want to go over the top of it and then under. And then you want to come back through the thumb hole and release your thumb and tighten it on there. Does anyone else just love watching other people work with super big? I do, absolutely. Will the video be available? Yes, T. Lambert. Absolutely. All of our videos are available as VOD. You can go back in and take a look at this at any point in time. You can just rewind and listen to me very obnoxiously go over the thumb hole and the legs and all that shit. So once again, we're going to go ahead and make our little triangle. So your fingers go in here. You hold on to it right here. And if you hold on to it with like 2 fingers, that's totally okay. As long as you have this taut triangle, that's all that matters. You just want to make sure you're making a loop over your thumb and that you've got a piece of yarn that's coming over your finger right here. So we're going to go underneath. We're going to come around and under the one on your finger, and then back through the loop, and then release. Raw meals, congratulations! That's fantastic! This is usually the way you cast on. This is the biggest yarn ever. That's usually the way you cast on to knit. This is the most basic way to cast on to knit. This is the way most people cast on to knit. Once you get the hang of it, I'll show you real quickly. You just start to go really fast. It just becomes habit. At this point, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stitches on here. So we're going to go ahead and make a few more. Come on down underneath the loop on my thumb. Grab the one on my pointer finger, back through the hole. I feel like whenever I teach this part, I always feel like I'm teaching somebody how to tie their shoes. You know, you remember when you were a kid and maybe your parents didn't do this, but you know, the bunny goes around the tree and then through the hole and whatever. That's what it reminds me of. So right through here, like so. We're going to come down like this. You see that nice loop right there? We're going to come underneath the thumb loop, grab the one that's on your pointer finger, and bring it back through. Now, you don't want to hold this too far back while you're doing this because you don't have any control on your needle, right? So the closer you are, the more control you have, but you also don't want your fingers all the way up here. So I think if you look at your needle, it's got a little indentation, like where it tapers off. So at the point where it's about to taper, I think about 1/2 inch behind that is usually a good place to hold your needle. Like right about there is good, or anywhere in this area, honestly. So once again, we're gonna make our triangle, come down, underneath, and then wrap around, and then release. Perfect. This lefty is so confused. Oh, Heather B. My mother taught me how to knit, and she is left-handed. And at the end of the day, I will tell you that as far as I'm aware, left-handed people knit the exact same way as right-handed people. You're doing most of the work with your left hand right now, other than the pulling down. Because knitting goes this way. You don't want to turn it this way yet. Hi, hey there, Alt Nuts. How are you? How was your show tonight? I know we caught the tail end of it a little bit. TK had me in here. He was so straight down, underneath, grab the yarn, and right through the hole. He had me in here to relight 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, and we're going to put 2 more on here. I'm great, Samantha. How are you? Okay, so straight down, underneath, grab the yarn around your finger, and then go back through the loop. We've got one more to do. Just down, underneath that loop, grab the yarn around your finger, and then back through the loop. And as you can see, I have, it's a little longer than I'd normally want it, but I have just enough tail left over because we estimated in advance. So we'll go ahead and count one more time. Remember, you do count that slip knot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Perfect. So we have all 15 stitches on here. Congratulations, we're done knitting. No, I'm kidding. This is your base that you really want to start with. So now that you have all your stitches on here, you're going to turn your work. You're going to have the needle with the stitches on it pointed towards the right, and it's going to be held in your left hand. This is the needle. The needle in your left hand will always hold the stitches that you have not knitted yet, and the needle in your right hand will be the working needle. Now, this is very important. Oh, shite. TK is right. We'll get right to that because I just realized that it is time for the Wheel of Goodies and Goof-em-Ups. I know, you guys are so excited. I was so excited. TK had to come in here and remind me. Okay, so we are going to play our first round of the Wheel of Goodies and Goof-em-Ups. So let me just get my handy-dandy keyboard out here. You know how this works, kiddos. Basically, I'm going to type the boring legal stuff in here, and then we're going to find out who our winner is. Was Ruin your cat shoot the yarn? Can you patch it up, little brat? Oh my gosh, that's terrible. I'm so sorry. And so is my mom. She said learning to knit was easier for her than learning to crochet. It's the opposite for yourself. Catastrophe. Congratulations, but you can't win because you're one of my mods. Let's try this again. Okay. How did Wheel happen so fast? I know, it's like it just went like that. Oh my gosh, Nightbot, why are you doing this tonight? It's like all the mods. It's just gonna take all my mods from me. Alt Nuts, congratulations, you are our first contestant on the Wheel of Goodies and Goof-em-Ups. You've been here a few times, so I'm sure you know how this works. Let me go ahead and get the wheel up for you. Boop. There it is. So for our new Littermates out there, let me just go over this really quickly. This is our beautiful wheel created by TK. We have all sorts of stuff on here. We have yarn tarot, we have free shipping, we have dad jokes, we have adject animal sounds, which we'll get into if it happens. We have Blinky rolls, merch codes for stickers and buttons. We have Ravelry patterns for up to $10 or up to $5. And then, of course, we do have Game Over on there and free shipping, which is both international and domestic. So you're good either way. Okay, Alt Nuts, I'm going to push the button and spin this wheel for you, and we're going to see what happens. It's good, it's good. Oh my gosh, congratulations, you win. $5 pattern from Ravelry. Congratulations, that is fantastic. So, knock on wood once again, 2023 has not failed us so far. We have not had a single person who has hit game over this year so far. So thank you so much, Wheel. We will see you in half an hour.
Good night and goodbye.
Altnuts, all you need to do is contact me. Actually, I have your email address. So I will get that free shipping code out to you via email. Just look out for it and we'll get it over to you. No problem. Congratulations and thank you so much for being here. We really, really appreciate it. If you haven't checked out Altnuts' show yet, you absolutely should. It's fantastic. It's very, very, she's got a lot of stuff going on. Like she does a live on Wednesdays. I don't know, you're not doing any other lives, right? Am I incorrect on that one? And then she drops a lot of stuff throughout the week and it's all very entertaining and informal and just, it's a lot of fun. You'll enjoy it. Okay. You are welcome, of course. Okay, so we'll play that again in about half an hour. Once again, you just need to be a subscriber, so make sure you push the little button. It'll just take you 2 seconds. And you just need to chat it up with us and be anything you want to say. Okay, so we've got our stitches. We're going to go ahead and put this into our right hand. Like I said, this is considered... This is considered... so this is the hand that holds the stitches, and this is considered the working hand. What I was saying before we started our gameplay is that right here, how you hold your yarn is totally up to you. Do not ever let anybody tell you that you're holding your yarn wrong. And if they do, you can tell them to go to hell, quite frankly. I knit continentally, which means that I hold my yarn around my finger like so. And a lot of people knit this way. It's faster, and I will say that most people I know who learned to crochet first knit this way, because you already, when you're crocheting, you hold your yarn very similarly. So I'm going to start this way, and then I will show you how to throw your yarn as well. So the knit stitch is pretty simple. You're just going to take your right hand needle, and you've got this stitch already on your needle, right? You want to come from the left hand side and go to the right through the front like so, towards the back. You want your right hand needle to just kind of come underneath that piece of yarn. I like to take my pointer finger and hold on to it so it doesn't go anywhere, because I'm going to bring it back through that loop, and then I'm going to release the loop, or I'm going to release the previous stitch off the left hand needle. That's all it is. So we're going to go through the front, underneath, and you can use your left hand to kind of help with that, maneuver it. Hold on to it, and then just, this is the hardest part for people, honestly, is just bringing it back through that loop and then releasing it off the left hand needle. Now, if you don't crochet and you're not used to holding your yarn in your hand like this, that's okay. A lot of people get hung up on that. Don't, because you can also just do it this way. You're not holding your yarn at all. You come through the front of the stitch like you would before. You take your right hand or your left hand, whichever works better for you, and you take your yarn and you come underneath the right needle and over the top of it. Still hold it down with your pointer finger, and then come back through the loop. That's called throwing your yarn, and that's how a lot of people knit. You followed her here, Yarny Knots. Thank you so much. Just on Wednesdays now. How are your hands doing tonight? My hands are great tonight, Samantha. Thank you so much for asking. This is so much easier than carrying on. That makes me so happy. I haven't taught people how to knit in a very, very long time, but I'm glad to hear that this is much more simpler than the other tutorials you've seen. So you go through the front, just like so. Make sure you don't grab your tail. I still do that after almost 20 years. Grab your yarn, come underneath the needle and around the top. Make sure you hold it with your pointer finger and then bring it through. You will find, as a knitter, that you are holding everything really tight. You remember when you learned how to drive? If you learned how to drive, you had your hands on the wheel and they were like white knuckled. Same thing's going to happen here. As you gain confidence, you will stop doing that, quite frankly. And the looser you let yourself be, the easier it will be to knit. My hands are not hurting right now. You can't tell if it's working. Raw meals, go ahead and post a picture in show and tell, and we can go over it this evening afterwards. So through the front, underneath that piece of yarn, grab it with your pointer finger, and then back through the loop. This is so easy, even TK could do it. I love you. So we're going to go through the front of the loop right here. And make sure you go towards the back of the needle. That's really important. If you try to do it from this side, it doesn't work. So you want to go towards the back. You're kind of crossing your needles over. And then underneath that piece of yarn that's hanging out on your finger, or if it's not, then you pick it up. It's your working yarn, whatever it is. And then back through the loop. You're knitting a little? Fantastic! Apparently throw yarn and hold them like drumsticks. That's why the guy at the local yarn shop, when trying to help... Ashlyn, yep, either way works. So to answer you, BK, I was not able to patch it up because she'd shoot a good chunk of my... No. Oh my gosh, that's so frustrating. Okay, so I'll do it throwing again, just so people can see that again. You just go through the front. You want to come under and over the top, and then bring it back through. So you can kind of see I'm holding it in my hand, sort of. Under and over the top, and then back through. And however you get that stitch, however you get that piece of yarn through the previous stitch, through this loop, that's entirely up to you. Do not let anybody judge you on that. If you take it and you go like this, and like you're using both hands and maybe your mouth and too, as long as it gets on here, that's all that matters. When I first learned how to knit, it was on a bus. And I had to put one needle in between my knees while I tried to use my hands to do the other stuff. It didn't work very well, but I had to figure out what was most comfortable for me. That's the only way you're ever going to get this down. Don't let somebody force you to do it just the way that they do it, because that is dumb. When do we stretch? We're going to stretch around 7:15-ish or so, like we always do. It's looking good so far, Kira. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm trying, Rashana. So under and over, and then back through. We're almost through our first row. And I want to get to the end of this row because there's something I want to show you at the end when we turn our work. So it looks like everybody's pretty good. You were only taught throwing. You're going to have to try continental. Ashton, definitely. Like I said, it's much faster. And part of that is because you don't have to do as much. You're just you're using your right hand to go through the loop, and then you're kind of flicking underneath that piece of yarn basically and bringing it back through. Okay, so I'm at the end of my row. Congratulations, huzzah. If you're at the end of your row, good job on you. Pat yourself on the back. You're going to notice when you turn this, because that's what we're going to do next, is we're going to turn it over, that these look entirely different. They're bumpy. That's because, and this is going to blow your mind, and I'm really sorry. When you create a knit stitch, it's a form of a knot, basically, right? And every knot has a front and a back. When you knit a stitch, on the front, it is a knit stitch. But on the back, what you're basically creating is what's called a purl stitch. So there is a knit stitch and a purl stitch, and you're creating both when you do a knit stitch or a purl stitch, because one is the opposite of the other, basically. You have the front of it and the back of it. That's how that works. Right now we're going to continue with the knit stitch, just so I can show you how that works, because you're going to want to practice that a little bit. And the stitch pattern that you will be creating because of that, because you're stitching on you're knitting on both sides, you're doing the knit stitch on both sides, is called a garter stitch. And you'll see kind of it makes like these little rows pretty much, that kind of go bumpy and then in, and then bumpy and then in, and that's because you're knitting both sides, so you're getting purls and knits on both sides. Is knitting easier than crochet? I don't believe one is easier than the other. I think that they both have pros and cons as far as being easy or hard. You find crocheting easier, but it's different for everyone. Exactly. Allison is 100% correct. Perfect. Okay, so let's get back to it. So we are on the purl side. That's what, or the wrong side a lot of the time. People say, I hate wrong and right, though. That's silly. Front side, back side. So this would technically be the back. And you can see these little bumps here, right? Versus on the other side, you've got like little V's. So the other thing that you're going to notice is that the last stitch that you've done is always going to be kind of loosey-goosey on there. And it's going to drive you nuts. You're going to want to yank on it, and don't yank on it. Just kind of gently put the yarn to the back. All right, like so. And then you're going to bring it forward, and we're going to go through the stitch again, but you're going to go right above this bump right here. So you're going to go through the front of the loop, right above that bump, grab your yarn, come back through the loop. And like I said, that first stitch is going to look wonky. And the reason it looks wonky is because you are using the yarn for a stitch on a stitch that you just created with the same piece of yarn. So if I were to pull on this, it's going to tighten this. And if I were to pull on this, it would tighten this. It makes that first stitch always wonky. But that's perfectly okay because almost always there's either a special type of edging on your knitting so that you don't really see that, or it gets seamed up and you don't see it because of that. So it's fine. Your bestie knits and you crochet. We both say they are easier, but we have yet to learn from one another. You also prefer front and back. Thank you, Allison. There is no wrong and right to a knitting. Am I, Samantha? That's exciting. Oh my gosh, Miranda, I don't know how that would work. Knitting takes you longer, but it usually turns out nicer. Okay, so we're gonna come through the front loop above that bump. Hi, Mittens. You want to learn how to knit? You want to help me? So where do I go through? No, not under. You got to come from the front. We're gonna come from the front and forward, or from the left hand to the right hand side. Yeah. And then how do I grab the yarn? Can you push down on the needle to where the yarn goes? That's not how this works. You're not helping these people at all. Do you want to say hello to the audience? If you haven't met Mittens before, this is my arch nemesis / partner in crime. It depends on the day. Sometimes we're besties, sometimes we hate each other, right? I mean, is that how most relationships work? Hate is a strong word. No, it's not. Not with you, it's not. You look very dapper today. I love it. I love the kind of paisley thing you've got going on there. It's real nice. It's real nice. Can we maybe bedazzle it, do you think, at some point? I know Gothic Hippie got us a bedazzler. Yeah, you like that idea. I think, well, you know what? When we hit 1,000 subscribers on the show and TK does Craft Hole, maybe he can bedazzle you a suit. Get out of here, you weirdo. Bye, bud. Okay, so. Oh, carrying on, really? Hi, Jessica. Hello, hello. Loathe. That's a good word for it. Sometimes we loathe each other. So you're going to go through the front, but above that bump. You're going to grab your yarn, and you bring it under and over the top of that needle, and then bring it back through the loop. So, through the front, under and over, back through that loop. And so we're knitting on this side as well right now, is what we're doing. Crochet hooks, yes you can, yes you can. If you can do this, it's going to be slow going, but if you can take a video or have someone take a video of what you're doing and post it, don't post it in the show and tell. You can privately post it to me, or you can post it in the knitting conversation. I'll look at it after the show and I'll tell you what you're doing that's making you struggle if you want. This is your first live. Forgot to say you got engrossed with the knitting. Carrying on, that's totally fine. Welcome, welcome. We're so glad to have you here.
Thank you for being a friend.
So, we're going to go through the front of this loop, but above this little, I don't know, nubby nub, bump. That's the word I'm looking for. Just like that. And then underneath our yarn, grab it with your pointer finger and bring it back through the loop. And you kind of get into a rhythm with this. It just goes through, grab, and back through. For a lot of people, pulling this loop off the left-hand needle is the hardest part. They sit here and they go like this because it's very awkward. So I like to take my pointer finger and gently just kind of nudge it down like that and bring everything forward so that I can slide that right off. Because you are manipulating the yarn. You are in complete control of this yarn. So if your yarn is all the way down here, freaking move it. Just move it up. So through the front, underneath the yarn, bring it through the loop, and then just push everything forward and get that stitch off with the left-hand needle. Nubby nub is better. Perfect, T. Lambert. That's what we'll stick with. Nubby nubs. Tried to knit and then gave up for months before I picked it back up again and I just clicked. Don't give up. Agreed. Absolutely. Maybe I should just knit my cardigan. I might have a better chance of getting it done because I can knit fast. Little brat, you should definitely do that. Absolutely. You guys, I found my yarn, by the way, for my Make It Along cardigan. I'm so excited. The yarn that I was missing, I found it finally. And so I have finished the I have finished the collar piece and we're moving on to the sleeves. But I'm not going to start the sleeves until Monday so you guys can see how to pick those stitches up. It's because you only have 4.5 millimeter needles. That's okay. Yeah, definitely try to get some bigger needles and maybe some chunkier yarn. Not anything huge though, like I said. But we can still definitely help you out. People who can knit or crochet so fast and they don't have to look at their work. As long as I am doing a purl stitch or a knit stitch, I don't have to look at it. I still have to look at my crochet a lot of the time. But if it's just basic stockinette or garter, I can do that in a movie theater. Not that I've been to a movie theater in years. Underneath, grab it with your pointer finger and slide it back through. Underneath, grab, and back through that loop. So we're at our final one. You're just going to go through the front, underneath, grab it, and back through the loop. And then your tail is right here, and I like to kind of tug on that just for a second, get everything nice and even. And congratulations, we now have 2 rows. So I'm going to go through this next row really fast just to get to the other side. In fact, the next 2 rows, they're just knit stitches like we've gone over just now. I'm going to get them done real fast because I want to show you something. So we're just going to slide right through these real fast. And because we're on a finite amount of time, the first half of the show is for this, I want to get to the purl stitch as well. So that is why I'm just speeding right through these. Boss Kitty Boss's yarn. Yeah, you should definitely use my yarn. You knitted your first hoodie for the baby this past year, and you started this year by knitting your first pair of socks. Congratulations, Roxanne. The stitches look so different from crochet. Don't know what I'm looking at. Do they look like little V stitches or like little bumps? Thanks everybody for the fun time. Got to hit the hay so I can get up at 4 a.m. Carrying on, thank you so much for being here tonight. We were thrilled to hang out with you, and I hope you can make another live sometime soon. Okay, so we're going to turn it. And I'm actually going to start purling now. But I wanted to show you I wanted to show you guys. Do you see what I mean by these ridges? You see how this indents in here? That's your knit stitch, and then this is where we did the knit stitch on the back side, and so it made purls. And so you end up with these ridges, basically. And that's what a garter stitch looks like. When you need to count those rows, if you were to count on the front side, every bump, then you'd count by 2. Like this would be 2. So I've done 1, there's an indent right there. This bump is a row. 1, 2, I've done 3 rows so far. That's how you would know that. I would do another row of knit stitches so that you can see the pattern that continues. In fact, yeah, let's just do it real quickly. It's not going to take us very long. There we go. So we'll just run through these real quickly, and then the next side, because the next side needs to be knit, and then I'll show you purl. I promise we're going to get there. Okay, so you just keep sliding. Also, if you're just starting out, I recommend wooded needles. They're sticky. They have the grain texture, means that your stitches won't slide off as easily. And I recommend straight needles when you're just practicing. Past that, though, if you can get yourself used to circular needles, they're the best thing on earth. It kind of looks like it twists. Raw needles, it might definitely twist depending on which way you're going. So I would love to see a picture of it, like I said, in show and tell. Or if you don't want to show it in show and tell, you can send it to me personally. If you guys ever have questions about your knitting, feel free to send it to me. I have no problem looking it over for you. You're making me want to pick up the needles again. It's been so long since I've committed to knitting something. Kat Jensen, you should, absolutely. Even if it's something small, right? I mean, you can still definitely join the cardigan make-along that we're doing, which is in Discord. It's a 6-month make-along. We're going until the end of April, I believe. November to January, February. Yeah, the end of April. I had to think for a second. So you have plenty of time. And the community here is really great. Very, very supportive. Hey, guess what? It is 7:06. So you guys have about 10 minutes until our next round of Wheel of Goodies and Goof 'em Up. So make sure that you've hit that subscribe button, because you got to be a subscriber to be eligible. And then just chat it up with us. So this is what I was trying to show you. Do you see these ridges? That is what I meant when I said it creates these ridges. So this is a knit stitch right here. This is a purl stitch in between right here. That's another knit stitch. And then this is a purl stitch. And then if I pull on this, you can see my final knit stitch. So if I were to count this, because I'm on the front side, I'd count 2, 4, 5. I've done 5 rows so far. So that is what a garter stitch looks like. Oh, that's very chunky and pretty actually. So now I'm going to show you what a purl stitch, or that's what a garter pattern looks like, I guess is what they call it, a garter stitch, but it's a garter pattern because you're just doing the knit stitch on both sides. And you will find it's squishy, it's lovely. A garter pattern stitch really makes a nice, squishy, bouncy fabric. This live is flying for realsies. Okay, so we're going to slip it over. Marie, it's so good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. But is there a Mal/Cal that is starting soon? I am not advanced enough for your cardigan, Mal. I know that Altknots is doing a year-round crochet along where she's doing blanket squares. But that's crochet. I will tell you, Matt, that we are going to do another one at the beginning of May. And I think... I don't know what we're doing yet. We haven't decided. Usually it's like, it's 6 months long. I think people really wanted to do socks. They're probably going to do socks and gloves is what it's going to be. I don't know. But I totally understand that. I can certainly throw some patterns at you in Discord and recommend some patterns that are pretty easy to follow. Not cardigan wise, just in general, if you'd like that. Okay, so now we're going to do the knit stitch. Remember I said the purl stitch. Remember I said the purl stitch is the exact opposite of the knit stitch. So if our yarn is in the back for the knit stitch, we want our yarn in the front for the purl stitch. So that's how we're going to start, is with our yarn in the front. And if we're coming from the left to the right with the knit stitch, we're coming from the right to the left with the purl stitch. And we don't go towards the back. We just go straight in the front, just like so. Then you take your yarn, you wrap it from the front over the top, behind it. And this is where this gets tricky. This is where people scream at purl stitches, because you want to get that piece of yarn through this loop and it wants to fall off. See? So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to really anchor it down with your finger, right? Like really anchor it down. I tend to go like this and then use my finger to go like that. And then you kind of bring it back through that loop and then bring it off. So once again, you're going to come through the front, just like so, wrap the yarn around, anchor it down somehow, pinch it down, whatever you need to do. And then if you kind of take your hook and you bring it up and back through that loop, and then hold on to that piece of yarn on there with your pointer finger, that by then you're pretty much safe. You are probably going to have about 20 times of that. It's going to happen. It's going to happen a lot. It's really frustrating. But the more you practice this, the easier this will get. But purl stitch is definitely, of the two, the harder one to master. You love the Norwegian purl. I've never done a Norwegian purl. I'm going to have to look that up, Artsy. Jessica, I'm doing Altknot stitches and Screams crochet along blanket. Is my first crochet along that I'm doing. That is so freaking cool. Romuald's right. It's much harder. This last fall, amazing. I had no idea, Ashlyn. We're going to have to look that one up and do that another day for sure. So through the front, wrap the yarn around, and then kind of hold it down. And I like to take, if I'm not knitting continentally, I like to take my yarn, I'll hold it down with like my forefinger, my pointer and my thumb, and then I'll take my other fingers and kind of hold on to my needle there, right? And then I'll take this hand and I'll just bring this, the needle up and back through. So you're kind of having it fall backwards through the loop. Oh no, like that. So through, hold on to it with your pointer finger, release, and let the stitch off. Little brat, yay! You hate purling. I know when I purl because I don't know how to pick them. I used to hate the purl stitch until I got good at it. Rashana, exactly. I actually prefer the purl stitch over the knit stitch personally. Kayla, absolutely. I feel you on that one. You guys will get this though, I promise. It's so funny. There was this woman once. I haven't taught people in person how to knit in a very, very, very long time. But once upon a time, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, there was this older woman who was visiting her daughter. And her daughter lived in a very ritzy part of Portland. That's all I'm going to say about that, which is totally fine. And she scheduled me to teach her mother how to knit while she went out to do some stuff to basically keep her mom company. I think her mom had to be like in her 60s. And she asked if I would come to the house instead of having her mom go to the yarn shop. I don't usually make house calls because I don't know people and I don't want to get axe murdered, quite frankly. But I was like, fine, whatever. And I was like, TK, if I don't respond to you within this much time, send people to this address. Anyway, so I teach her mother how to knit. Her mother's very lovely, very nice. She gets the knit stitch down like that. No problem. We're having a blast. She's laughing. I'm laughing. We're telling jokes. We get... What are you doing? Oh. Is that better? We get to the purl stitch and she can't get it down to save her life. Like, she just cannot get it through there. And I'm trying so hard to help her out with it. She yelled at me at one point. She was like, no, I've got this. I can do this on my own. I was like... So at some point she does some weird version of a purl stitch that is not a purl stitch in any way, shape, or form. But she's so happy about this, and I'm never going to see this woman again. And she's kind of scaring me at this point. That I'm like, that's fantastic. You just keep doing that. And that was probably the worst teaching experience of my life. Prison, not in person. It might as well have been. You dislike purling so much that you taught yourself how to reverse knit, so you throw from... Really? That is amazing. Your stitches are getting tighter on your needle and they keep falling off. Dawn, that's okay that they're getting tighter. You're just gonna... Eventually, your gauge will get so much better. Like, your tension will just even itself out. That's what I was talking about in the beginning. Like, when you learn how to drive, how you're on things really tight. That's exactly what's happening here. Okay, so we're going to bring from the front to the back, or front around to the back side. Make sure you anchor that down. Your pointer finger on your left hand will really help with that. And then just fall backwards through that loop. Make sure your pointer finger is here to catch it. And release. So through the front, up and behind. Anchor it. Let it fall through. Catch it with your pointer finger and release. Miriam, yeah, right? It was something else. The basic purl took you however long ago you first you finally figured it out. You were using your tail yarn, raw mules. I do that all the time. You're fine. I've only knitted a scarf a long time ago. Yeah, that's true. You can just knit in the round and then you're just doing knit stitches. So if you're going to do this continentally, you wrap the yarn around your finger. Some people just like to have it like this, or like this rather. I have to, for some reason, put it around my pinky. Everybody's different. And then you've got it sitting here. You come through the front, like so. And I use my left hand. I come underneath it like that, and then I anchor my finger down, like so. Fall backwards. My pointer finger on my right hand is here to catch it, and slide right through. So, before we continue, it is time, my dears. Wheel of Goodies and Goofy Muffs. It is our second round of the night. I'm so excited. Okay. So, this actually means that we are finished with our tutorial for the night, because after this we go into drop spindles. But we can do this again next Wednesday. I can back over the purl stitch if you want. We'll figure it out. We'll figure something out. If this has been helpful for you guys and you want to continue it, I'm all for that next week. You were wholly unprepared for a knit tutorial today, but you're learning a lot watching Yarny Knots. That's great. Miranda. Congratulations, Miranda. You are our second contestant on the Wheel of Goodies and Goof 'em Ups. That is so exciting. Let's go ahead and get that wheel up for you. I have to find it. I'm sorry. There it is. Hello, Wheel. See, I can't be much higher. Hello, Wheel. How are you doing? So, you guys, we've already gone over what's on this beautiful, beautiful wheel. If you're new, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. This is our wheel. You got to be a subscriber and chat it up with us to be eligible to play. There's good stuff on here. There's bad stuff. There's stuff that you guys don't actually win anything except for making me look like a fool, which is a whole lot of fun. So, Miranda, I'm going to spin. Are you ready? Okay. Oh, so stressful. It's a merch code. Congratulations.
Congratulations, you're a winner.
Katie Kitty's not wrong. You are a winner. You are however many consecutive winner in 2023. This is fantastic. Miranda, all you need to do is contact me via Discord so I can go ahead and get you your merch code for a free sticker and button on BossKittyShop.com. The way it works is once I give you that code, after I get you that code, when you go shopping, at the very end of your little Boss Kitty shopping trip, there's a button that pops up for the merch bundle, which is the sticker and the button. Add that on there, and then put your code in, and it'll take the price of that off for you. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. We really appreciate it. We will see you in half an hour.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Yes, Allison is absolutely right. The way that you become eligible to play the Wheel of Goodies and Goof 'em Ups is you need to be a subscriber, and you need to chat it up with us in chat within 10 minutes of our next round, basically. That's how that works. How many kitties are there? Matt, that's a great question. If we're including Mittens, we have Mittens, and then we have the kitties that actually have faces and tails and stuff. We have Gracie. Gracie is a Lynx Point Siamese. She's about 2 years old now, or almost 2. We have Con. He is a tabby, and he is almost 9. And then we have Zuzu, who is our little torty kitten, and she is almost 5 months, I think. 4 or 5 months. So we will continue this tutorial either in Discord or next week. I'll let you guys know for sure. I hope that this has been really helpful for you guys. If you need to come back to it, feel free to watch the VOD as many times as you need to. But in the meantime, right now, it is time for... Oh, it's under segments. It's in the middle.
It's time to stretch.
You want to hear this cat? There we go. It is stretch time. So if you've been sitting here with me learning how to knit, oh my gosh, your shoulders are probably so cramped up. Your fingers are cramped up. Let's stretch that out. So once again, this week, we're going to go ahead and start with our neck, because I found that I get a really tight neck. And if I get a tight neck, my shoulders get tight, my elbows get tight. It just goes all the way down to my fingertips. So let's go ahead and just tilt your head to one side, and then take your... So if I'm tilting my head to the left, I'm taking my left hand and I'm pressing it down on my forehead, on the right hand side of my forehead, just a little bit so that you can feel that stretch right here. Oh my gosh, it feels so nice. You feel all the way down into your shoulder. Just breathe through it. Okay, release it. We're going to go the other way. And the same type of thing. And don't yank on your head. Be gentle. Be nice to your head. It does a lot for you. Let's sit here and chill for a second. And the hairless cat is weird looking. I think they're cute. Allison has one. They're adorable. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn our head to the left. Once again, instead of your forehead, you just use your hands to gently tap your chin, take it a little further. Make sure you're sitting up straight at this point, that you're not scrunching your shoulders up. And if you are if you like rhythmic breathing, when you breathe in and then breathe out, and you can try to go a little further. And we're going to turn the other way. Oh my goodness. And we're going to see Zuzu, who's absolutely adorable and half asleep. Hi, little girl. How are you? Good job. Okay. And then just kind of rock it out. So I'm not going to go through all of our shoulder stretches and everything, but we'll do a few of them. So we're going to come forward and bring it across. Hold it with the other hand. She does have stinky breath. Put Whiskey on the leash before having a nap. Seriously. Okay. And then we're going to switch. I'm bringing up the next order, and I can bring Nori. That would be great, Allison. Absolutely. I'd love to meet her. Let me just stretch like there's something right off screen for me. Okay. And then normally we would go ahead and do our... Actually, no, we'll go ahead and do it. So you're going to go ahead and put your elbow on a table, and you're going to take your hand... So if my left elbow's down, I'm going to take my right hand, and I'm going to pull back on my left fingers. And I should feel a stretch in the back side, underside of my forearm. We're not going to go through every single stretch we do, because we threw the neck stretches in there, and I don't want it to take too long. But I want you to do whatever stretches work best for you, honestly. That's really what's important. So no cats in the house. Sorry about that. With a bundle of yarn for the merchant code. No, you should be able to go into Boss Kitty shop and just get the merch bundle. Is it? I thought that you could put it in there and then take the yarn out. I guess it's only available with purchase. We tried to do it the other way, but you guys ended up paying like $10 or $12 in shipping for a sticker and a button. There we go. First time watching your live. You have 6 cats. That's a great number of cats. Kathy, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Go ahead and rotate those wrists out. They're going to pop a lot. Then we're going to go to the workspace. And we're going to put our hands down straight. We're going to get this out of the way. And we're just going to rotate our fingers. And this part is, I will always do this. This is so important for me because with knitting and crochet, like you're using your fingers constantly. Same thing with spinning, quite frankly. And you're clenching so many things with your finger, like they get worn out, you guys. Really worn out. 3 Persian kittens. Oh my goodness. One. Oh, well, we can move that here in a second. That big old ball of yarn. Boom. The ball of yarn was so big it was causing shadows on the overhead camera, apparently. Sure. And then just shake it out and we're good with our stretches and just in time for a Zuzu. Hi there, little girl. What are you doing? Can you come say hi to everybody? Everybody, I want you to meet Zuzu, or the top of Zuzu's head at the very least. I don't think she's ever been on the tabletop, has she? I'm going to scoot you this way. Nope, you're not. You don't like to be scooted the way that Gracie does. Come here. We'll do this way then. Oh my goodness. Hi, this is Zuzu. She is our youngest. She's a little tortie I was talking about, and she is so sassy, but she's very tired right now. At some point in time, Gracie might come on, just get up on the table because she can't help herself. Oh my goodness, look at that face. Hi, how you doing? She's generally kind of the devil, quite frankly, but in the most adorable way. You are so pretty. Everybody says hi. They're very excited to see you. I know you want down. Okay. We'll put you back down to Dad. Zuzu, thank you for coming by. Okay, so we're actually going to stay in the face camera, which we never do, but you guys, it's time to go into drop spindles. So actually, first of all, we're going to show off the drop spindles. So there are a lot of different types of drop spindles. It's a very basic top-down one. You've got your spindle right here, the shaft, if you will, and then you've got your whirl right here and the hook up here. And the way this works is you spin the spindle itself, you draft your fiber off of it, and it creates this very fine or thick, depending on what you want, yarn or one-ply yarn, and then you wrap it around the actual spindle or the actual shaft. So that's what we're going to be doing. And the fiber I'm using right now, I got at Oregon Flock and Fiber. It is a Superwash Merino, I believe. Not a blend, it's just basic. And it was called Stormy Weather or something like that. I don't remember, but it's really pretty. It's got lots of different blues and grays and blacks in it. It's funny because the other half of it is actually on my wheel, so it'll be interesting to see how this works out. It's very soft Miranda shaft, right? Every time I say shaft, I giggle. I can't help myself. I turn like I turn into a 12-year-old. Got a little notch on here. So I'm going to hold it like this. I'm going to turn it clockwise. And you want to always turn the same way because that way the twist is going in the same way. So we're just going to give it a nice little spin. And then we're going to break everything because it was knotted up. I told you guys I am not good at this. Hold on one second. If you're just starting, by the way, I recommend what's called pre-drafting, which is where you take your fiber and you pre-draft it. You just pull on it like so. And it gives you some pre-drafted fiber, which is really nice and helpful. First, let me make sure I don't break it. But yes, I hear ya. TK's like, don't hold it in front of your face. And I'm like, I get you, but I have to make sure I don't break it first. Okay, so we're going to try this again. You guys ready? Want it to kind of catch onto that fiber like so. And then it just, it gives it a twist. And then you take that fiber that you've made and it wraps around the shaft like so. Everybody thinks that's so funny. Yay for Discord joining. Welcome, Lambert, to the Boss Kitty family. We're so thrilled to have you in there with us. So this is getting a little chunky because, like I said, I'm really terrible at this, and this is not pre-drafted. But that's okay because we're just playing around right now. And then you just bring this down here, wrap it around the bottom. What do you do after the drop spindle? So after the drop spindle, you would either knit it or crochet it as a single ply, or you can ply it with another thing of yarn, basically. Megan, we're so glad to see you here. How are you doing? How are you feeling, actually? Okay, so we're just going to draft, and that's what this is called, where you're pulling with one hand. You guys have seen me do that with my spinner. Like I said, I'm much better at that than I am at this. Bring it down. And just go around that shaft. So part of the thing, a lot of people love drop spindling. They find it to be relaxing. It's compact. It's, you know, easy to travel with. They're certainly less expensive than a spinning wheel is. And they're beautiful. You know, you get some really fine pieces of art on these. And it's also neat because they come in different weights. Like the weight on these are really, really important because depending on what type of fiber you're using, and how thick or thin you want it, depending, you know, that's what you choose the weight of your drop spindle for. So you've got some serious control over it. Personally, I'm not a fan. Not a huge fan, at least. I don't like that I have to try to get the yarn off afterwards somehow or another, and there's a few ways to do that. I don't like holding my arm up like this. It starts to hurt after a while. And I also have really bad luck with drop spindles. I drop them all the time, or I get them caught in car doors. They break a lot. It's an ongoing joke for me. You'd be overwhelmed with this. Raw meals, I understand that. If you ever want to learn how to spin, my recommendation would be to go to your local yarn shop that sells spinning wheels. If you've got one, and see if they will let you just try that out. And what I would do is I would just do the pedals first. Just sit there and use the pedals until you get used to that. If you can find somebody who will teach you, and they've got like a, you know, old Ashford that's kind of clunky and easy to clean and stuff, then I generally recommend people try spinning first in the raw, which means it still has lanolin on it if it's sheep, because it's very sticky and it's very hard for you to break that fiber. And so you really do learn how to do two things at once, where you're pedaling and you're also drafting your fiber, which is the hardest thing about that, right? And you've got to be able to draft fast enough while it's spinning like that. And the same thing goes for a drop spindle, honestly. You've seen people make yarn out of cat hair, Jessica. Yeah, it's a real thing. Do you know, it's so funny. People ask me all the time, is your yarn made out of cat hair? I'm not kidding. All the time. I'm like, it says Superwash Merino on it. And Stellina and mohair. What the freaking A is happening? The first time somebody said it to me, I almost had a heart attack. I was young and naive, and I was like, oh God, I'm so sorry. You must have found some of my cat's hair in there. And she's like, oh no, I thought because it was called Boss Kitty, it was made with cat hair. No. Number one, did you know it's illegal to make yarn out of dog or cat hair to sell? You can do it privately for your own enjoyment. So if you like make yarn out of your cat's hair, that's totally fine. It doesn't have much of a staple on it. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but you do you. But if you try to sell that shit, it's against the law, because they don't want people breeding animals, specifically domesticated animals such as cats and dogs, specifically for their fur, because that would be terrible. Drop spindle takes a lot of patience. It does. And if you know me, I'm not a patient person. It's made with real Girl Scouts. I know, isn't that crazy? I mean, like I said, it's just illegal for selling. You can't sell it. And there's probably more details to that law than that, but them's the laws, kids. Mohair would be a fun cat name, though. Lillian, our mohair is actually called Mohairball, because I can't help myself. Much like our glitter yarn is called Kitty Glitter. I will forever be 5 and you can't stop me. Catherine, thank you so much for stopping by. It was great to see you.
Thank you for being a friend.
Hopefully we'll see you on Monday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. I know, Ashlyn, right? You have to go for the night. Time to get your kiddos to bed. Love being here and learning so much tonight. T. Lambert, you too. I'm glad that you joined our Discord and that you stopped by. Hopefully we'll see you on Monday night. Thank you so much for being here and part of the Boss Kitty family. We really appreciate it. You just have to collect pumpkin orange tabby fur from your couch. You can, and when you brush your cat or your dog, like I said, you can spin with that. That's totally fine. Just don't, don't spin a whole entire full skein of it and then sell it on Etsy, specifically saying cat hair for sale. I mean, I don't think that the fiber police are going to come after you, but I'm just letting you know. How many tattoos do I have? Jessica, that's a great question. If you count my fingers, each one of them as its own tattoo, then I guess I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but probably not. This would be considered one tattoo, so I have 2. I have a very large, gosh, my brain is not working. Triple moon goddess on my back with an Ouroboros and a septagram in the middle of it. That I got when I was 21, I think. I went big or went home, basically. Everybody's like, you should get a small tattoo to start. I was like, no, I want it to cover all of my shoulders. I love it. My only regret about it is that it's on my back and I can't see it. So I forget that it's there, quite frankly. You can get the feds on your tail for bird feathers. God damn, really? Thank you, Rashana. You know what's really funny? TK and I take those very seriously. Like, we go after name after name after name. We have had full-on spats over names. It's great. It's fantastic. Not like full-on fights, but like spats over them. You have 5. That's I'm getting at least 2 more. I'm gonna get a crochet hook on my inner forearm, on one inner forearm, and then I'm gonna get a set of knitting needles on the other inner forearm at some point in time. Get my tools of the trade, right? But those are going to be much spendier than my knucks were, so got to save up for it. I'm getting my knucks actually touched up next Thursday. I haven't had them that long. I got them right before Thanksgiving. They came with a free touch-up because your fingers have so many little wrinkles in them that the ink does not take as well as it should the first time around. And I'm aware that they'll have to be touched up through the years anyway. Just lots of sunblock, lots of lotion. Your witchy tattoos you just mentioned are amazing. Thank you, Thorn. It is. I love it. I did make a mistake on it though, because I am not an artist to save my life as far as drawing goes. And so I took all the elements that I wanted, the Ouroboros with the septagram in it, and what it is basically. Okay. So you've got your triple moon goddess, and then the full moon in the middle is where the Ouroboros is. That is the Ouroboros. And then the septagram, 7-pointed star, is in the middle of that. And one of the points, because I did all this on the computer, one of the points slightly goes through the Ouroboros, and I didn't notice it. And so when I gave the artwork to the tattoo artist, she recreated it, but she recreated it exactly as I had it. So there is one little tiny point that goes through the Ouroboros that I did not know about until like 6 months later when somebody pointed it out to me. It's just black and white right now, or black rather. There's no color to it. I would like to get some more stuff added to it. I just haven't figured out what. Count my tattoos. You stopped counting after 20. Brittany, that's fantastic. TK's got 2, I think. I don't ever remember. I'm a terrible, terrible partner. It's really draconian. My whole right arm will be dedicated to your son. Jessica, that's amazing. I love it. First was a butterfly lower back during your Army medic school, and then okay, yeah, because of the medic part. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Use this. Okay, so I'm gonna go over, do the overhead shot so you guys can see this real quickly. So that's what I mean when I say that it gets wrapped around the shaft right there. And this right here is my lead. So I could snip that, quite frankly, but that was what I used to connect the fiber in the first place to the drop spindle. Oop. Like I said, they all come in different shapes and sizes. My father makes drop spindles, so he made both of these. You can tell which one was made earlier and later, but this one's very, very heavy, and this one's not. This would be a medium weight, I would say. You guys have about 10 minutes until our final round of Wheel of Goodies and Goof 'em Ups, and then we go straight into show and tell. So number one, if you're not a subscriber yet, this is a great time to subscribe. Seriously, just hit the button, and also while you're at it, hit the like button, because you like me. You really like me, and we want to tell the world that for sure. And then also, you just need to chat it up with us. That's all you need to do to be eligible. Be a subscriber and chat it up with us. And then we will go straight into show and tell. So if you have not thrown anything into show and tell, please feel free to. We do a show and tell segment at the end of each show. If you go into Discord, there's a section there where you can put in your finished objects, your works in progress, your knitting progress. If you were doing the tutorial with us tonight, would be great. But it also doesn't have to be fiber arts related. It can be drawings, it can be food, it can be anything you're proud of and that you want to show off to this community, because they are amazing and they will support you to hell and back again. But you haven't found an artist you would trust to do it. Totally get it. I know, it's the tutorial brat for sure. Like, it just had everything fly by tonight. I think we might have to do more of those. I think next week we will go over purl. I think, since we didn't really get to it much tonight, we'll finish up the purl stitch so you guys can see what the stockinette looks like, and then we will go over dropped stitches. I really want to show you guys how to pick up your dropped stitches and how to identify extra stitches and things like that. Like, there's little tips and tricks here that make it so much easier for beginning knitters. Things that really frustrate and discourage a lot of beginning knitters who put their work down. You know, they're like, oh, I have 20 stitches now instead of 15. Well, that's probably because you did some yarn overs in there, which is a real thing, by the way. That's a fancy ass lace stitch that you've done. Congratulations. Or you've dropped a stitch somewhere. Like, it happens all the time. Can TJ take a picture of your back? Tina, I think maybe yes. I used to have a picture of it somewhere. I'll see if I can find the picture, or if he can take that picture for sure. Or if I can just find the art for it, quite frankly. It's got to be around here somewhere. I mean, it's not like it's been 20 years or anything like that. You win something this year, that would be really nice. It did go by super fast. It's been so much fun. Thank you, Michaela. Tonight has been fun, Lillian. I agree. Have you had fun, TK? What did you learn? Thinking hard. Can you link to the Boss Kitty Patreon? Tell me how to find it. Ashton, absolutely. It is !Patreon. And you know what? We are 5 minutes out. No, I'll wait. So if you haven't heard of our Patreon, and I'll go over this a little bit later too. Can I? You want to push the button for me? That's a great segment to run into, actually. So we would like to thank our patrons who support us over at patreon.com/bosskitty. Basically, what our Patreon includes is it includes some discounts for our top tiers. We do early release parties for everybody. We have extra content such as the Fleece to Finish project that we will be doing the next installation of on the 28th. So make sure you're here for that. And then things like we've got these grab bags that are coming up. Those will be released to our patrons before anybody else 48 hours in advance. I just said that. It's on the 28th. Saturday the 28th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, and there's plenty of other stuff. I think our top tier also gets free shipping, don't they? Free shipping, and then we do random flash sales as well, which is really cool. You guys get stuff at wholesale price. It's insane. So definitely check it out. The more the merrier, quite frankly. It helps make this business grow. On some mini granny squares for the 24,000 square blanket. Is that the same one I'm making? I don't remember how. I think mine's only 1,020, so that's very impressive. Spelling is hard. Oh, Jessica, no. The list has grown, right? I know, it makes me so happy. And then the other thing about our Patreon is anything that was available to other patrons, even if you join now, all of that other content is on there as VOD. It's stuff that you have access to. We have pattern. Well, I have a pattern on there right now. There's a pattern on there. There's me singing 50 Nifty United States from when we hit 50 subscribers or patrons rather. So there's all sorts of stuff on there. We try really hard to release at least one special thing for you guys once a month. Hi, Eska. How are you?
Magic wand! Make my monster grow!
Ooh. The list has grown. Magic wand, make my monster grow. Now I know why he did that. Ha 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 ha. You couldn't remember the number. I know, it seems like a bazillion. I think I'm just a little over, no, because it's only 7:43. We have our last wheel of goodies and goof 'em ups, then we go into show and tell. Yeah, look at you on top of it. TK's trying to wreck my show, you guys. He's trying to wreck my schedule, and he should know better. I have ADHD. You don't mess with my schedule. Fuck me up. We had a Power Rangers inspired yarn color. Actually, it was yeah, it was for our witch set that we just did last Halloween, the Toil and Trouble set. We did a Rita Repulsa colorway. Thus that little sound peep clip that you got. You showed your Spawn Your Nifty 50 Nifty United States video and she loved it. I was so cheesy through that thing. Oh my gosh. That was your show as a kid. You know, it was during my childhood. I didn't watch a lot of it though. All my friends dug it. Yeah, and it's 100% that it's just slowly going down. Oh my goodness. Took you a few months to join, but I did last week and I got to watch the 50 Nifty USA, so it was great. Brittany, I'm so glad you liked it. You guys are fantastic. You're so supportive. I love it. You're autistic and you have ADHD. You're Divergence gang. For real. I know it feels like a weird thing to give you confetti over, but you get confetti for it. ADHD unite. So would you say you're spinning fingering weight? Well, if I leave it the way it is, I'm actually spinning lace weight, I would say. Let's check though. So this right here is super fine. If you think about it, this is fingering weight that I've got this against, and this is much finer than that. But if I were to apply this on itself, let's see what would happen. I have no idea because I don't have control over it like that. I'm not that amazing. There are some spinners out there. Fiber Mage, JK Knits for you. They are amazing. And we're just going to pull this off actually. There we go. And this is what it looks like when it's been plied on itself. So this is still definitely a lace weight right here. You can see that ply really well if I bring it up here like so. It's very, very, very tiny, as you can see. And the way that a lot of people will take this off of here in different ways. Some people, you kind of have to slide it all the way down, which is very, very, very awkward. I know some people will take a straw and they'll put it on the shaft right here and then slide everything down onto a straw, and then they'll ply from that straw. Some people will ply right off of 2 different drop spindles. It's totally up to you. Like I said, that's the part that I can't stand about this that drives me nuts. Whereas with my wheel, I've got my bobbin and it just does it for me and it's super easy. Speaking of wheels, that was perfect. Yeah. It is time, my dears, for the final round of the Wheel of Goodies and Goof 'em Ups. Let me get my handy dandy keyboard out. From a Fiber Mage's yarn, it's amazing. Someday you'll find the perfect project for it. Stop, I'm getting dizzy. That's amazing. Thank you, Brad. I needed that. Okay. So, we're going to find out who our final winner here is. Size 2, and it's a challenge for you. Not used to tiny hooks and yarn, for sure. The winner is Goth Emo Raver. Congratulations. You are our final contestant on the Wheel of Goodies and Goof 'em Ups. Let's get that wheel up. So, wheel. Everybody's been in here for at least half the show. You know what the hell's on this wheel. There's some good shit. There's some bad shit. There's some me stuff. Let's see what happens. Me, by the way, is the stuff I have to do. The dad jokes and the adjective animal sounds. Okay. Going for 3 here. Let's do this. I have faith, Gothemo. Blinky roll! Fantastic! Oh my gosh, Wheels!
Congratulations, you're a winner!
Ashton, thank you so much for joining Cult of Con on our Patreon. We really appreciate it. I've got to get my names updated on that thing, by the way. Okay, so, we will see you next week.
See you later, alligator.
Okay, Goth Emo Raver, this is how this works. I'm going to roll Blinky. This is Blinky right here. It's a D20. When it rolls on 20, it blinks. Blinky's been a dick for the past 6 months. I don't think I've had a natural 20. But if we get a natural 20, you win a free skein of yarn. I've got some Forest Park out, some As You Wish. I've got some Tales from St. Olaf, and I've got some Balrog. They're all in fingering weight, but you get to choose. We will ship to you free of charge. Okay. Oh, my tummy just grumbled. That is a flipping 6.
Game over.
Why are you doing this to me? That's okay. At least you guys know it's not rigged. It's a freaking D20. Goth Emo, I am so sorry. However, the good news is it does mean that you are eligible to play again on Monday. You don't have to wait the 2 weeks. But thank you for playing the game and for being a subscriber. We really, really appreciate it. By the way, for those patrons that did not see their name in the scroll yet, my apologies. I didn't get in here soon enough to do that. They will be there by Monday. Cross my little heart. In the meantime, my love, it's time, it's time, it's time. I should probably get it up this time before I do it. That's what I screwed up last time, huh? All the way to the top. Okay, here we go. It's time.
Time to clean up.
To clean up.
Yay!
Oh, Kitty. Rashana, the first picture is my favorite project bag. The second is my brand new overalls from Black Milk. And finally, a scrappy yarn project that I'm currently working on. This project bag rocks. Oh my god, it's so awesome. I love it. Is this still available on their website? Because I kind of want one. It's really, really, really cool. And it looks very well loved too. It is just as cool as these overalls are. Holy shit, these are so neat. Oh my gosh. So what kind of shirt are you going to wear with these? I want to see the whole entire outfit. So when you have this outfit ready and you're rocking it, you need to take a picture so we can see it. Because these are so, so good. And then here's your scrappy project. Wonderful. I think you have a blue and brown vibe going on here. I love seeing people's scrappy projects because they always have colors that they kind of, move towards, and you can really see that in those scrappy projects because they're like, oh, look at all this purple. Oh, look at all this blue, that type of thing. It's always fascinating to me. Good night, story time. It was so good to see you. Okay. Samantha, these are some of my friends at the Colorado Eagles games. My friends' names are Kata and Jenny. Well, hello, Kata and Jenny. Oh my gosh, it looks like they're having a blast. Bubbles, took a break from my bubble cardigan for the winter mal, but I recently picked it back up. You're getting too close to finishing the body. Can't wait to add the ribbing along the front hem. Oh my gosh, I love this cardigan so much, and yours is beautiful. I know you and Wisdom Queen are making this, and they're so lovely. It makes me want to make this too. Like, I want to make all the cardigans for the mal. I can't, but I want to real bad. Bubbles, this is so stunning. I can't wait to see your ribbing either. You're gonna have some ends to turn in there. Whew. Just a quick reminder, Samantha, that you want to get your pictures all in one post next time. Samantha, here are some of my friends and family that came into town. I hope you enjoy them. They look like they're having a great time. Crochet Queen, here's what 3 years of determination and learning to knit gets you. I knit both of these last year, my first knit tops. Congratulations, by the way, Allison. Oh my god, I love this pattern with the flecks of the rainbow in here. So, question. Did the pattern call for that, or did you add that flare into there? Because it makes this whole entire sweater. Also, it's a lovely picture of you, by the way. And I've seen this one before. It's so beautiful. She's got lace work along the yoke area. Yeah, Allison is a very, very, very talented crocheter, and she has learned to knit over the years, and she's just as talented at that. And these are beautiful. Here I am at bingo winning, and I hope you enjoy it. Congratulations at bingo. You don't see the bag on their website anymore. Well, that's good to know. Yarn Pirate, Shelter Kitty update, Simon and Garfunkel. We're holding paws until Simon spotted my camera. Do they get in fights all the time? Oh my gosh, they're so cute though. I love the spotting on both of them. Look at those little toe beans, you guys. The little paw is just stretched out. Number 2 is your Sea Spell Shawl progress with Goose. Oh, little goosey goose. She's playing peekaboo, and it's the cutest thing ever. I mean, the shawl's beautiful, by the way, but your cat just takes this picture and steals it. It's really beautiful work. I really like the end color right there, that light blue. But Chibi, Yarn Swift came today. Yay! Zebra Wednesday style cat hat, purple birthday gift blanket, finally done, and she loved it. So here's the cat hat, Wednesday style, black and white. I love it. I bet it looks super cute on. Here's your Yarn Swift from Knit Picks. Yes, so exciting. Can't wait to hear all about how much you love it. And then here's, oh my god, this blanket turned out so beautiful. I'm glad they like it. I love all the different textures you've got going on there, and that each stitch has a different color dedicated to it. It's really just gorgeous. Crochet Mom. The pants I randomly started last night because I don't already have enough whips. Story of my life. The sweater that I'm trying to decide to continue or frog to make leg warmers. Fair. And this is my baby Marley. She's almost 10 years old now. She's my grumpy old lady. So let's start with the pants. These are the whip pants. That's what I'm going to call them. And they are too cute for you not to continue. I'm digging the white and the pink. Are they going to be long pants or short pants? And then here is the sweater that you're trying to decide if you're going to frog for a pair of leg warmers. I'm going to tell you personally, I think you should frog it for leg warmers. I think that yarn was meant for leg warmers. That's what it screams to me. But you do whatever you feel you want to do. And then here's your grumpy old lady. Oh my goodness, look at that face. That's not the face of Grump. That is the face of love right there. It is a beautiful, for real, on that blanket. Goose is one of the best decisions you've ever made. Oh, my heart. Skittles Kid, I love making socks. I love looking at your socks. They're always so great, and they are just, crocheted socks are so cool looking. I'm gonna have to try it, you guys. You're really talking me into it. And yours always look like kind of Frankenstein socks, which I really, really like. And super cozy. Raw Meals, this is what I have from the lesson. I might have dropped some stitches, but or put the yarn around differently. Yarn, this looks fantastic. Number 1, I think you're using a really fine yarn, which is totally okay, but that's really impressive. Yeah, this looks definitely like a garter stitch. It looks like, I'm trying to see if you've dropped any stitches. I'll look at this closer. You might have picked up a stitch, actually. There's an extra stitch in this section right here. And you might have something going on over here. But it looks great. Like, for your first piece, this is phenomenal. You should seriously be proud of this. It looks really great. You call them Frankenstein socks too. I know. I totally want to do it, Yarn Pirate. Maybe that'll be one of the patterns that we throw up for the spring summer craft along. Make along. Gina near Fort Worth. Tenacious throw. I'm making with scrap yarns. I started with the purl stitch so it won't roll up. Smart. Then switch to simple knit stitch. Maybe the closest I've ever gotten to knitting. It looks beautiful though. Seriously, like, you did exactly what you're supposed to do with the purl stitch so it doesn't roll. Like a little garter thing going on there. This is gorgeous. I really like this part right here because it looks like cross hatch stitches, you know, like hatch stitches. This is really beautiful. I love the colors. Ooh, I like how the blue kind of just fades right into there. Hopefully long pants. That yarn gives me 80s, 90s roller vibes. It looks great raw. Miss Monster, one of my goals for 2023 is using up stash. including spinning fiber. The fancy stick that's holding the fiber is called a distaff. Yes, it is. Oh my goodness, what kind of fiber is it, Miss Monster? This is gorgeous, by the way. I love your spindle also. It's beautiful. Really, it looks nice. It all looks nice. Oh. Andy the Knitress working on my circular sock machine while watching tonight, making some DK weight mittens. Ooh, I didn't know you could make mittens on a sock machine. That's phenomenal. That's so freaking cool. I like a background with all of your yarn, by the way. That looks really neat. Ashlyn, 1 and 2, my sister knows me so well. For a Christmas present, picture doesn't do number 2 justice. So you got dice for Christmas. Awesome, as you should be. Oh, I like the little beaker on this one. It looks like you got some stone dice. I got dice for Christmas too. Oh my gosh, those ones are beautiful. I've seen these before. They're really, really light, aren't they? Because they're hollowed out. They're so beautiful. Good job, sis. And then number 3 is what you made for her because she has a pig obsession. Oh my gosh. So I have to tell you, before I opened this picture, I thought that the bottle next to it was actually fire coming out of the pig's mouth. I was like, is that pig breathing fire? What the hell? That's amazing. It's still super adorable, though. David Frank, this is my exaggerated ripple Afghan in Lion Brand Mandala Ombre. Colorway is called Happy. Ooh, it's so pretty. Oh my gosh. I love it. So does the yarn do... I know that you make the wave, but do you change colors, or is the yarn changing colors? Because if the yarn is changing colors, it goes really well with this pattern. Goth Emo Raver, my mini squares. Flowers for a granny square blanket for a boyfriend. Or BF, I don't know if that's best friend or not. I shouldn't assume boyfriend. And the start of another Fancy Bones cardigan without the bones for my stepmom. Okay, first of all, I love the squares. The green is, I am so here for the green, and the fact that it's all random. Perfect. Oh my gosh, look at these. They're so cool. The flowers and everything. Particularly like this one up here. No, we saw the music. And then here's the start of your cardigan for your mom. Oh, I hope she likes it. I really like the color. Pill bottles make good stitch markers and scrap bits for sure. It's the yarn. That's amazing. Tio, my finished fox. Koopa sleeping on my D&D notes, and Cecile snuggles in my bed. Oh my goodness, that fox. Okay, this will sound so weird. When you do your amigurumi, your stuffing is so perfect, Jessie. I just, so good. It looks really great. Oh, look at that. Such cute kitties. Thorn, my new bag made from old clothes with a new goat. Hello, goat. It says hello back. It looks great. I love that you put your goat in things like this. It's really cool. Very, very awesome. I like the bag look, the clothing vibe look for the bag. Guitar Nut. Cutie Cheddar. Oh, hello, Cheddar. You sleep with all your top paws together too, you little goober. You're so adorable. You guys, what a great freaking show. I had so much fun with you guys. Seriously, like the tutorial was a blast. The show really flew by. We had wins across the board again. I think next Wednesday we will continue the knitting tutorial if you're okay with that. We'll go into purl stitches, picking up stitches that you've lost, and then probably casting off so that you have all the basics that you need to knit something. Once again, if you have something that you're trying to knit and you're having a hard time with it, feel free to pop a picture into Discord. Make sure you tag me if you want me to look at it, because I don't see everything all the time. And I will do my best to take a look at it and tell you where it is why you're struggling if I can. I'm really good at deciphering that stuff through pictures, but I can't guarantee you. We'll do our best though. This whole community is here to help you learn new things. That's what we thrive on. It's what we are good at. We are a great support system, and there's so much knowledge in the whole community and family. You guys will be amazed. This community taught me how to crochet on camera live. No joke. We will be back on Monday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time with our make along. I'm working on the Le Pouf cardigan, and I have found my yarn, thank God. And then we'll be back on Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time with more tutorials, probably some more spinning. We'll see what happens there. If you are a patron, please keep your eyes open for the patron exclusive event on Saturday the 28th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. It's our next installment of our Fleece to Fiber project. Our Fleece to Finished project, my apologies. We're going to start spinning this Shetland fleece that we've been washing and skirting and processing and dyeing and carding and everything else. We're actually going to make it into yarn now. So excited. I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Do something phenomenal and fantastic, even if it's we and it doesn't mean anything else to anybody else. Just do something for you, seriously. Until next time, my dears.
Thank you for being a friend.
We love you, and as always, happy crafting.